Thanks everybody for getting here this morning. TYC was kind enough to come up here and do some regulator training for us this morning. And who we have here is Charlie, who's the sales manager, and Frank, who's the product manager. And they're going to go over our newest line, which is window regulators. We're very, very excited about this product line. We've gone pretty deep in 11 locations as far as having a good amount of inventory that'll cover, in most locations, 80% of sales, according to Mike Fink and your data. And in Tacoma, we're going to cover about 95% of sales.
Sweet.
So anyways, without getting too crazy on introduction, I'll let these guys go at it. So thank you very much.
Morning, everyone. My name is Frank, and then I'll be going over the window regulator training with you guys. And so let's jump right in. Okay, the window regulator. So for those that know, this essentially is the mechanism that moves the window glass on your door up and down. Right. So here's a door shell with the interior trim ripped off. So that's just the metal part. And the regulator actually sits between the outer exterior sheet metal and the inner sheet metal. You can see it fits right there. So window regulator is two major components in there. One is a motor itself, the electric motor. So the electric motor, of course, powers the glass up and down. This is where it generates the power. And then the regulator portion is a mechanism assembly that attached to the glass itself. So essentially the glass runs up and down these mechanisms, of course powered by the motor. Okay, and here are the major types of regulator. Two major types. One is cable. So cable type, you can see very obviously that it has a cable. So
There's some greasy.
Yeah, the parts are greasy because obviously these are mechanical parts. So they are well lubricated so that they don't fail in actual usage. So handle getting started. And the gear type, of course, is going to be all metal brackets.
More common than another at this point in time as far as the later model vehicles?
There will be a breakdown, but yes, essentially the gear type is mostly used by Toyota.
Oh, okay.
No wonder why I've never replaced one of the cable ones. Who uses the cable ones? Chrysler?
Everyone else.
Everyone else?
But
From every time I see it.
some applications use the gear type as well. And also for domestic select application, mostly older, large applications, they will use the gear type.
If it was built with a gear type, or if it was built with a cable type, do you make it in a cable type?
Yes, so we follow
There's no change.
No, there's no change. So there's no option. Usually OE comes with something that will do the same thing. Okay, so in cable type, usually you see two basic configurations as well. One is a single rail, so something is passing around where there's just one rail. And the glass mounting bracket will run up and down that rail channel. Or then you have the dual track type where there's two rails. So those are usually used for larger applications, like trucks, SUVs. So the glass is bigger, that's why they have two glass mounted, one on each side.
What's our warranty going to be on these?
In terms of what you guys will be offering to your customer, I'm not sure.
Their warranty.
For us to you is limited lifetime.
And we're passing that on, but you don't know that yet.
So the warranty essentially is limited to manufacturing or production defects. So if someone installed it wrong, of course, that's technically not warranty. Okay. Okay, so there are also other types that's not seen as commonly. For example, the corkscrew type is utilized by Chrysler for select applications. The most popular or notorious one, I guess, is a 0207 Jeep Liberty. Great. So, of course, this inherently has durability issues. So, for us, for example, this is a case where we actually design it differently from the OE to make it into a standard cable type, just like that one you see there. And then, of course, for Chrysler, for a while, they also did the service parts only, not on the original vehicle, actually OE service part. That's all plastic. So it's a plastic bracket that runs on a plastic channel with gear teeth cut into it. Okay.
Imagine this broke a lot.
This was on a PT Cruiser. We saw it for a little bit and then it disappeared. So Chrysler is a little bit strange in that way that they have a bunch of novelty designs that they don't really stick with. They use it for a little bit and they go away. Of course, Chrysler is also known to have really problematic regulators. So maybe they're just trying to do different things. Hopefully it'll solve their issue, but usually it doesn't go anywhere. And of course, the module types, this is a trend with later vehicles. So vehicle manufacturing, they're trying to streamline and also, make everything lighter, easier at the manufacturing level as well. So
Is that chain driven?
no, this is the same. This is a cable.
This cable, okay.
Yeah. But then instead of a metal door shell that you saw previously, essentially the interior sheet metal is no longer there. So just the exterior sheet metal and the inside is a giant plastic panel module. So everything that used to mount onto that sheet metal now is mounted on this plastic module. The speakers, the door actuators, door lock mechanism, all that, window regulator, and then they just bolt this onto that door shell. So again, probably for ease of manufacturing on the OE manufacturing side. Okay, and the reason why this is significant is because sometimes a regulator is actually permanently installed onto this door panel, if you will.
So then if we buy it from you, does it come with the door panel?
Yes.
So it'll be a big box then?
Yes. So this will be the later applications. Again, a lot of this Chrysler. Of course, this is the biggest one, for example, but there are going to be various, like for example, like Ford Expedition. They have a pretty large chunk of plastic as well, but it's not the entire panel like that. It's probably like the metal section there.
Okay.
Things like that. So again, if the OE comes with it as a standard, then of course we're going to include it. Because the OE doesn't service a regulator by itself in this case. So if we just give you a regulator, you will have problems saying, how am I supposed to install this? Because this thing is like rotated on or like riveted on. Yeah. Okay. Of course, you were mentioning there's window radiators, there's power, there's manual. And power, like previously explained, is power generated by the electric motor. And of course, nowadays this utilizes the majority of passenger vehicles, and everything comes with pretty much power windows nowadays, even the most basic vehicles. And of course, we also understand that for fleet vehicles, also heavy-duty trucks and whatnot, there are still manual window regulators, where instead of a motor out where the crank is, just a crankshaft extended out, and you can attach a window crank to it.
So what's OES?
So for these type, we don't carry except for maybe 1 or 2 applications, and OES is the OE overrun products. That we
Oh, is that what you have?
Yeah, so there's some OE overruns, but those are mostly Korean and Japanese. So for those, obviously, we can only carry whatever the OE produces. So if they only make the regulator only, then we'll carry that. If they make the motor only, we'll carry that. But those are very few, and they're not the really high demand.
Yeah.
So this is the window regulator in action. So this is a cable type, and I'll just jump into a video so you can see it. So glass will be mounted onto this plate right here. So that's a glass mounting plate. So this is a cable type. The motor essentially is turning the cable spindle in here. And as the spindle is turning, the cable gets pulled one way or the other. And then the glass mounting plate is attached to the cable, so it goes up and down the track.
As far as the failure of the, let's say, the OE product, is it usually failing at the motor, or is it failing at the cable?
For cable type, actually there's quite a lot of failure at the cable.
At the cable?
Because cable type, the whole thing is actually tensioned. So you can feel this is tension. That's why there's something down here to keep it tight. So cable's motor, and this is plastic. So it goes up and down. This thing gets worn out.
Gotcha.
And also the cable itself, it becomes frayed or it becomes loose. So when that happens, sometimes your cable falls off or things of that nature, then your windows cease to work properly. But as for the gear type, this is pretty much fail a lot less.
Okay.
So for this type, usually you're going to see the motor go out before the gear goes out. And here is the cable type on the actual board. And here's the gear type, and again, show you the gear type in action. So for this one, the glass will be mounted onto this long bracket right here.